Hi, my name is Tufha. The idea for this story came with one of my peer sessions with my mentor. I said, nothing normal ever happens to me. And she said, like what? So I told her, and then she started laughing. Nothing normal ever happens to me, but no one believes me. First, let me tell you that my dream is to see a giant animal. It's on my bucket list. Giant frog, giant turtle, giant panda. One morning, I was late to school and running up the stairs on my subway stop. At the top of the stairs, I ran straight into a giant chicken. It was all yellow with a red top. I couldn't believe my eyes. Had the universe specified me to find a giant animal? I wanted to stop and take a picture with the chicken, but it took one look at me and started to run. I chased it, but the chicken stuck out a big yellow wing and hailed a cab. It jumped in the cab and disappeared. Disappointed, I went on to school, but no one believed me when I told them about the chicken. Of course I knew it wasn't a real chicken, just a big guy in a chicken suit. Don't ask me why. Another weird incident happened one day when a friend and I were walking up 3rd Avenue to Barnes & Noble. A pigeon followed us all the way. I know what you're thinking. It could have been any pigeon, but this pigeon was different. A scar ran down its face. It had a bunch of freckles in the corner of one eye like tiny paint splatters. The pigeon had an evil smile. Oh yes, it smiled. I told my friend that a pigeon was stalking us. When she looked, it had vanished. She said, "Stop acting so crazy." But then, just as we stepped off the curb to cross the street, that evil smiling pigeon stepped right in front of us and tried to trip us. This is not a joke. That pigeon reminds me of my uncle, who never quite stays in one place either. He's been married 4 times and never stayed with any of his wives for long. He's only 30 years old, but he's like one of the rich old guys on television who gets married like once a week. Like I said, not normal. Actually, 30 is sort of old. My teacher, Miss Apples, claims that she's 28, but we all know that she's lying. Miss Apple is tall and thin like a model. She dyes her hair a different color every month and carries huge tote bags like she's a celebrity. When she talks, she screams. There's no chance of falling asleep in her class, unless you're deaf. Even then, her spit wakes you up. She's a long-distance spitter, too. Miss Apple has an English bulldog named Rosie. When Rosie was a puppy, Miss Apple brought her to school in her tote bag and let her run around loose in the class. Rosie was utterly adorable. The principal used to visit Miss Apple a lot during the day, so every time we heard a knock on the door, we had Rosie in the tote bag or in the closet. One day, the principal came to get some papers from Miss Apple, and she told him that the papers were lying underneath her tote bag, which was sitting on a shelf behind him. When he lifted the tote bag, it tumbled over, and a big goopy surprise from Rosie fell on him. We gasped. Speaking of poop, my most memorable experience occurred when I was in 3rd grade. On a warm day during the spring, my teacher, Miss Greenleaf, opened the windows. Sometimes a pigeon sat on the windowsill and watched us. No, not that pigeon. This was a different pigeon. Miss Greenleaf said that when it got bored, it would fly away. One day after lunch, I came back to find my desk splattered with white stuff. I knew what it was, but the boy next to me didn't. Before I could stop him, he stuck his fingers into the poop. After that, Miss Greenleaf wasn't allowed to open the windows anymore, and we lost our pigeon-feathered classmate. Didn't I tell you, nothing normal ever happens to me? Thank you.